all went through. Originally, they wanted 500, they ended up giving them 750. Now, how does that work? Okay,
That's
so
coming out of the state funds, though.
that's not coming out of our money, it's not coming out of the Indians' money, it's coming out of the 25%. The state will take that, their money, like the guy told me from the reservation, I don't care how they spend their money. Don't care. So the state's gonna give up their money to the area towns that they make.
I can't believe the state's gonna give up a nickel.
There's no typos, I went through.
But I agree with you.
Okay?
You know, it's actually clear, because you can't, how can you have a referendum on something that's legal to do with the zoning in place?
From what I understand,
I don't think it's legal.
if they pass this,
Yeah, so
if
it's,
they
you know,
do this,
if that-
where
and that last-
they say that we have to do a referendum, the state will overrule us, and before they will give them a license to run here, we will have to do a referendum. If we have to do a referendum, we will win.
The last time we had town meetings, it's 2-1 majority.
We will win. I spoke to people today who didn't come to that hearing, because they said they knew that we would win. But they said if it had been a referendum, they would have been there.
Okay, I'm going to call this meeting to order. June 6th, 2017. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. I would like to add one thing to the agenda tonight, and that's the approval of the sale of 20 Willem Road. You know where that is, Dick?
I know where it is.
Yeah.
Tried to buy that a dozen times.
Is that the house that's all been in the woods,
It's-
rotting,
yeah, it's,
and maybe a
covered with
dead body
vines.
in there and
Is
all
that
that
gonna be
stuff?
new business or unfinished?
New business, oh, new business,
It's gonna be F anyway.
yeah, so it'll be F.
New business, it'll be
Yeah.
G.
E, F, and just before
20
approval of
is F,
taxes.
Okay.
We'll make approval of taxes G. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Approval of minutes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of Tuesday, May 16, 2017.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Okay.
All those approve?
All right.
Aye.
Okay. Communications. I do have some communications. First communication I have is that a week from today, June 13th, we'll have a referendum on the budget. Just thought I would communicate that, and I'll probably say it again later in the meeting. I put this on the website, and it says that if the third referendum passes, the spending increase will be 8.6%, and the tax increase, mill rate increase, will be 5.95%. And if the budget fails, the spending increase will be 2%, and the mill rate increase will be 6.14%. So, and then actually, and Patty made this up, she gave an example. So if you're, and so it's going to be pretty close either way. If your house is assessed for $120,000, then you would see an increase in taxes of $220.80 if it passes. If it fails, then your increase would be $228 even. So that's what you'll be voting on. And the second piece I'd like to communicate is an email from Melissa Maltese, and she says, July is Parks and Recreation Month, and we will be participating this year with hosting a number of special themed days, nights throughout the month. The theme for this month sponsored by the National Parks and Recreation Association is Get Your Play On. So I want to reach out to see if you or your groups would like to host an event, a trail, walk, or in one of the parks or properties. If there is anyone who we invite to host, please let them know. Some ideas we have planned: a concert for the veterans sponsored by the Windsor Federal Savings Bank, hosted at the Trolley Museum. And then there's a few others: night swimming and water safety, movie night, and a couple others. So she'd like to get on the agenda for the selectmen for next time, 6:20, and talk about this. So if anybody has any ideas for this Parks and Recreation Month in July, let Melissa know.
Sounds good.
Okay, public participation. Do we have?
Okay, so, let's see, there was talk just earlier about possible referendum on the casino. One thing I'll tell you, if we do have one, it will pass. I will vote yes as many times as I can get away with.
It'll be one time.
Don't worry. The moderator. Got your number, buddy. I voted twice at the hearing.
I don't want to hear this.
You tried, but you didn't succeed.
Under new business, you've got this request to waive costs for copies, FOI request. I think it's important we treat everybody equally. So if somebody's gonna get away skating off and not paying, I don't wanna pay either if I want something, or I don't think anybody else should have to pay, which I think is inappropriate because it's to cover costs. I think we have to keep that in mind. That would be the most appropriate approach, in my opinion. That's all I have.
Right.
Yeah, Marie Susan Penrice, Red Forever. I just want to say thank you for putting that out on Facebook for everyone to see. I think what that did, at least for me and the people that I have spoken to, it kind of clarifies the signs that get put up around town, so now they have a full understanding of what it actually means. And I know this is posted here in Town Hall too, and I did read it in one of the articles. So it puts that nonsense to rest, so if we can remember to do that every year, I think that'll be good. As far as the agenda tonight for the waiving of the Freedom of Information request, that's only up to you. But I know I just paid $3 for a notary stamp that took about 22 seconds for the stamp to go on and to sign my piece of paper, and it cost me $3. And I'm a volunteer in town and have been for a lot of years. I don't mind paying it because that's the charge. If I have to pay, then an outsider certainly should have to pay. But I think in saying that, we also need to look at what we did when we had a request from one of the towns for the pool suit that was going on. And I'm not sure what the outcome was there, but they also looked to have the fees waived for all the copies that that attorney wanted. So hopefully you guys have looked at that because it should be comparable, I would say. So that's all I got.
Yeah, I want to thank Marie for a good article in the JI tonight about the casino. Well written, you hit the nail on the head.
Okay.
You're getting the thumbs up in the corner, so that's a good sign.
Okay, further public participation? Yes.
Joel Whalen, 20 East Road, Broadbrook. This is my first live meeting that I've had an opportunity to attend. I want to thank the select board for installing the cameras. That's allowed me to kind of keep up on what's going on in town. I think the other nice thing about that is I think it gives some color to these meetings that the minutes don't always provide that color when it comes to the quorum of the select board during these meetings. It's also given me the opportunity to reach out to some of the selectmen as well as the first selectman with some of the things that have been discussed. I want to publicly thank the first selectman as well as Selectman Nelson and Selectman Bauza for continually being engaged with the town folks and responding back to any communications that I sent. So thank you guys for that.
Welcome. Okay, further public participation? Okay, we don't have any board or commission resignations, so we go on to the 250th anniversary.
All right, an update. We got t-shirts in. T-shirts are one t-shirt $12 or 2 for $20. They're being sold at the Broadbrook Library, Warehouse Point Library, and Town Hall, and then Selectman meetings and NER meetings and any other public event. That is that. We also have our resident and business fundraising letters going out, hopefully by the end of the month, so we can start getting money in. We need money desperately so we can start actually planning some of our events that we have kind of committed to. So we just kind of need money before we can actually do anything right now. That's kind of, we're at a standstill. So once we get these letters out, we really hope people will, even $20, $25 will definitely help us get to a goal of getting something done. So that's the update that I have for right now. We do have big wooden signs made up that we're going to paint that have our logo on it and everything. We're going to get those around town. So we also have the plastic corrugated signs too. There's going to be an order form going around for those. Not really an order form, it's more of a, if you make a donation, you get a sign. So I'm going to have an order form for those for our next meeting, and then I'll make it to the town hall and everything else. So we will have those go out as well.
Good.
Sweet. Thanks.
Okay. Broadbrook Mill Site remediation. And what I did was today I called Maurice Hamill, and I made arrangements for next Monday. Lori Whitman and I are going to go down and speak with him at 10 o'clock. And he said he may come on the June 20th or may not, depends on how that meeting goes. And then someone told me, just considering what we're going to do, and that's what we're going to go down and talk to Maurice about, is what we can do in that Broadbrook Mill site. And my conversation with him indicated he really wasn't sure what we were going to do, and he wasn't too satisfied with the RAP, Remediation Action Plan, that UTAS gave him. But he was interested in what we talked about a little, and one thing we did talk about was the idea of having a grant for the, if we can get the grant, to preserve the old historic building that was once the mill site. And he said that if the land was just overfilled with soil and just grass was grown and people weren't using it, he'd be a little concerned about that. He said if people are using it, then they can see erosion or something that takes place. But if it's just abandoned, then he would maybe want something better. But he thought if we did make some use of that land, then that would be a good thing. But also, someone else told me that there was some concern because, and I'll have to talk more to Keith Yageloff about it, because he wants to have the main building, at least one part of it, for some kind of a, and I'm probably not using the right terms, but it would be for troubled young people that need to have help getting into the world. And some people said, well, that sounds like people that could cause trouble, and maybe we don't want them there. So there's a lot to this that we'll probably have to think through. But anyway, I do have a meeting with him next Monday, the 12th.
At his facility in Millington?
Yeah, Hartman,
Okay.
across from the Capitol. So if anyone wants to join us, I think that if you can make it there, that would be good. Okay.
And when was that, Bob?
That's at 10 o'clock, June 12th, Monday.
What time?
10 o'clock.
down there.
Yes.
Another trip to Hartford.
We could stop at the Capitol too. I don't know if anything's going to be going on then, but,
They might still be there.
yeah. Okay, approval of credit card limit increase for capital improvements line. I missed something. Missed the casino. Okay, discussion of the casino.
Well, Jason's not here tonight, obviously. They are still in session, and he's down there trying to help lobby with our lobbyist, Adam Salinas. If it goes through tonight, he's going to try to be there. And if it goes through tomorrow night, he'll probably be there again. So I give him a lot of credit for
Yeah,
reaching out.
yeah.
We got a couple letters out today, Bob. Would you like to discuss those 2 letters?
I don't have copies of them with me. One letter had to do with the referendum, and if you have the letters.
I have one of them, but I couldn't find the other one.
Okay.
I got them both here, Bob, if you want.
Oh, good.
Then I can read them both.
Thanks.
I don't know which one you got. Here's both.
There you go.
Both the states.
Okay, these are letters that the Board of Selectmen sent today to the representatives in the House, and it says, recently, the suggestion has been made that the fixed assets provision in the development agreement between MMCT Ventures and the town of East Windsor was included at the insistence of MMCT. That notion is 100% false. In fact, the concept was introduced by the town for several reasons. First, a fixed assessment was important to the town because there really are no comparable developments in Connecticut on which to compare similar assessments. The town believes that by fixing an agreed upon assessment for a period of 5 years, it will provide a basis for future assessments at the facility. Secondly, the town also has a fire district in Warehouse Point section of East Windsor. That district includes the site of the proposed casino. If the development agreement included a fixed payment, as was proposed initially by MMCT, then it would prove problematic for the fire district to levy a fire tax on the proposed casino. By agreeing to a fixed asset assessment, the problem was alleviated, and the district will have a benchmark by which to levy their tax. In summation, the notion of a fixed assessment was introduced into the negotiations by the town and ultimately insisted upon by us. In our judgment, this was a better fit for our community because the issues listed above. We stand by the decision and we look forward to a strong collaboration with MMCT for many years to come. And so that's what we sent them. And I guess someone was saying that MMCT pushed us into a deal, and that's not true. We kind of pushed them into that because of this fire district. We said, if you give us a fixed payment, how are they going to tax you? We got to have an assessment. And so they said, okay, we can figure out an assessment. And that's what we agreed upon. And we assessed them for $250 million for 5 years. And the other one was some other points that we wanted to make. The East Windsor Board of Selectmen stand resolute in our decision that a referendum for a casino in East Windsor is not necessary or appropriate under the local charter or under powers given to the municipality by the Connecticut General Statutes. The Board of Selectmen are the duly elected executives for the town of East Windsor. We have exercised our authority to negotiate and enter into a development agreement with MMCT. We have we've held multiple public hearings on the issue. It has been discussed at meetings of the Board of Selectmen more than a dozen times, with your public participation provided for at each meeting. And not least, we held a town meeting to consider submitting this issue to referendum, and it was soundly defeated, rejected by a 2-to-1 margin. This process has been open, collaborative, and East Windsor VOS believes that the time has come for a clean up or down vote on the issue. So we're pushing against the House of Representatives to do something, and I don't know, maybe they will.
I think
Yeah.
Rebecca will need a copy of those for her minutes.
Sure.
And I'd like my two back, my file.
I'll copy and give you back here.
Oh, it's okay. Well, can you email them to her?
Yes, in fact, I did. I think you should have gotten an email today, but
These are yours, Bob. These are yours. Steve.
Wait, if you're gonna make copies,
you're
just
right.
give it back to me.
Okay.
I just did it at the
Yeah.
Board of
I'd
Selectmen.
like a copy too.
Okay.
Three copies, 4
Um,
copies.
MGM has had people going around to the businesses in town.
MGM,
Yeah.
the casino up in
Right.
town.
And I spoke to one tonight, and she said they came in and was asking questions on what they thought. And they left some pamphlets which immediately went into the wastebasket. They asked her, what do you think about the casino coming here? And she said she's for it. And she said that, they said, well, what if one was built down in the lower part of Connecticut? She says, well, that's not gonna help East Windsor. He says, I'm for the casino in East Windsor because it will help East Windsor with the money and the jobs. And I guess the guy didn't really like that too much, but he left a pile of stuff, it went in the rubbish, that stuff did, and the guy left. So they're down here walking around.
Oh, yeah.
Another mailing tonight.
Yeah.
Let them mail it, it goes right in the rubbish.
And then the television is running back to back to backs. It's to the point of ad nauseum. I mean, I don't even want to turn the TV on.
Yeah, but I laugh at it. I laugh at it.
Well, I have some precious conversations with the TV. None of which I could repeat immediately.
Okay, Marie's dying to say something.
Yeah.
They not only have hit the airwaves on television, but I don't know if anybody goes on to Facebook and you try to read an article, and that's the first thing that pops up in your face. I personally find them offensive to East Windsor and our board, and I think they push the envelope a little too far, where it's at the point now where it's almost harassment, in my opinion, of what they're saying about our board of selectmen. Whether you agree or disagree with those people that sit on the board, they shouldn't be using their money to try to insult and embarrass the people that are sitting on this board. So I take issue with that. But on the other hand, people are tired of them, because I've had people tell me that if they see one more of them commercials, they're gonna put their foot through the TV because they're insulted by them also. So I think they probably be better off start backing off a little bit before they lose those people that were supporting them. But I think the state would be ridiculous if they allow the casino to go into Fairfield, because that's only going to take more revenue away from us, because the other two casinos are going to lose all of New York because they'll come across on the fair, or come in on the train. So the state, in my opinion, would do a disservice. But they also tried to do a meeting on Monday with the businesses in town, and I don't know how successful they were. I haven't been able to find
Well,
out.
she said
but-
they came about like a week or 10 days ago over here to Broadbrook, you know. But I was told that they're kind of getting more realistic. First, they wanted 200 million from the tribes. Then they went to 100 million, and now they're like down to 25 million.
That's the state, the representatives in the state. So.
Okay.
But that's a problem I have.
So,
If you're gonna say-
but then they're talking about putting slot machines at the off-bet.
Right. Everybody wants to
Off-track
line their
betting.
pocket now.
So they're trying to do things so that the state gets a little more here and there. To try to
How
get
does it
this.
help the business? I mean, if you put in off-track betting, if you put a slot machine, the guy that's putting the slot machine in his facility, he wants a take of that too, and I
Yeah,
can't blame him.
but I was told that the state will get 25%, and they will still get their 75%.
But I take issues with the representatives that have said, and I'll speak were the ones that are in our district, that they didn't think the casino should come to East Windsor. But if you give my town excess amount of money, and an amendment, then I could vote for it because it's the right thing to do for the state. Well, you either want the casino or you don't think the casino is right. Don't try to line your town's pocket when you had an opportunity to have a casino and you didn't want it. That's where I take an issue, because now it's become, to me, it comes, put something in my hand and then I'll vote for it. And that's wrong. Nobody should be sitting in office that wants their hand greased like that, in my opinion.
Well, what are you talking about? People are getting their hands greased around here?
No, I'm saying the towns are asking for money.
The other towns.
All the surrounding towns
The other
want
towns
money.
shouldn't be getting a dime out of this.
And I agree with that, but
Okay.
that's the amendments that have been going through. The state is gonna pay 5 towns $250,000 a year.
No, 750,000.
Whatever the figure is. To me, that's wrong. That's my tax dollars going to these people that had an opportunity to bid for a casino and didn't want it, and now they want the hands greased. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying anybody here in this town is getting any money, but that's how I look at it. You had an opportunity, you lost the bid, or you didn't go in for the bid, now East Windsor has it. Wish them luck. I can wish them luck.
Enfield didn't want it, South Windsor certainly didn't want it, and they're all getting money,
Yeah,
Right.
okay? They don't deserve a
For
dime.
nothing.
I
Okay,
agree.
let's move on.
Yeah, but we're talking about, this is history being made here.
Yeah.
This is a big deal, this is the biggest thing to hit the town of East Windsor. And with the economy and all the cuts and everything that's going on here, you got, this is a lifesaver for this town. And even the 750 for the towns around us, that's a big help for them too.
Yeah, and
And you gotta realize that money is not coming from our money, it's not coming from the Indians' money. Whatever the Indians pay the state will now take that money and give it to the towns.
Which in essence gives the state less money, which now my taxes are gonna be picking up that difference.
Well, I don't understand how you figure our taxes are gonna be picking that up.
well, in a sense.
No, she's right, absolutely.
How's she right there?
Because they're gonna take it away from the pot that goes to the state, for the whole state, and give it to the surrounding towns.
Yeah.
Maybe Windsor Locks is gonna be affected a little bit. Enfield maybe slightly, but Ellington, South Windsor, and Windsor? Come on.
But
Give
we've
me a
still got
break.
$8.5 million coming into this town.
Yeah, but the general fund of the state of Connecticut is gonna be short that 750 times 5.
Yep.
That money's gonna have to be made up somewhere, so the state taxes are gonna go up that much more. Come
We'll
on,
have to wait and see if they do that.
yeah, if they do it.
We don't know if they'll do that.
And they may succeed in making this thing so that it's just not profitable, and then they decide not to have a casino at all. If enough people, want to put their hand out, I mean, there's 169 towns, 168 plus us. If everybody wants to put their hand out, pretty soon there's nothing left. It's still a business venture, and if they don't make money, they're not gonna do it. They're venturing all the capital, they're putting all the front money, doing all the work.
Yeah.
They need to reap a just reward,
They're coming.
just like you do and I do,
They're coming to East Windsor.
we hope.
Okay, we'll move on.
All right.
Approved credit card limit. And in your package was the credit card policies. And what we want to do is increase the credit card limit to $5,000 for the Public Works Department. And that's because they can buy things online from Amazon that exceed the $1,000 limit that's on there. But there are safeguards in our current. All right, we have the man of the hour here. Well, okay, let me read what it says in here, and then you can talk about this. One in Exhibit B on page 13 of the credit card policy, it says, to obtain all spending over $200 must be approved by the first selectman and/or the town treasurer prior to the purchase and be accompanied by a purchase order in compliance with purchase order policy. To obtain a pre-approved purchase order over $200, the cardholder must submit a request to the first selectman and the town treasurer. The request must be in writing with an account number, purchase order with details of items to be purchased, their purpose, the approximate amount, the reason they must be purchased by credit card before the purchase is made. And these requests will be reviewed on a case-by-case basis, so.
Well, the big thing is, we currently have a $1,000 credit limit, which, it's amazing what you use the credit card for now, online. You register for all your workshops online, and they take a credit card. And you don't have to go to the treasurer and have her do a check and all that. We buy a lot of parts online. The problem is, if you get to that $1,000, if you buy it, I mean, we buy truck parts online. I mean, we buy we buy, I don't want to say we buy everything online, but we buy a lot online because it's a lot cheaper, even with the ones that charge the delivery and what have you. So if you buy a couple of parts or this or that or the other thing, I got a piece of software, drainage software, that I was using my own software forever, and when we changed over, I lost it, and I can't, it's gone. So I need to purchase a piece of drainage software, hydraulics, drainage, whatever. It's $1,000. You get a complete package. But the credit card would have to be completely empty for me to order it. Now, the treasurer's office will let us, hey, can we come down and, order online and use your credit card number? Here's what we're doing. But it's a pain in the neck. So a little more credit limit on that would allow us to do, I mean, we have checks and balances up to tiny. I mean, we're not like going out and, to the local restaurant and coming back with a $500 bar bill. That would only happen once because somebody would catch it. You know what I'm saying? It's the only two people that use it are Joe and I. Well, actually, Teresa a little bit for little odds and ends online, but.
So all three of you go to the bar at the same time?
Oh, yeah, what the hell, we can't leave anybody out.
Yeah, but it'd be the last thing, Steve.
I mean, I keep the credit card, in my desk, and then if somebody needs it, I'm gonna buy a chair for what, okay, here, use the, so, and it'll just be a little more handy, not having to go down to the treasurer's office and ask if we can borrow their credit card number to buy stuff. And because we save a tremendous amount of money buying parts and equipment and what have you online. I mean, it's amazing what we can buy online now.
So can you only use the credit card up to $1,000, say for like once a month?
Yes,
Really?
yes,
You spend $1,000 a month, once a month.
that's it.
That's kind of ridiculous.
Well, that's what it was.
Gail has something.
We weren't really, honestly, the credit card sat in the treasurer's office drawer for a year before she said, will you come get this credit card, please? And I'm like, what do I need the credit card for? I don't, well, now, between Joe and I, and Joe's doing a lot of the purchasing now, he's like Mr. Save a dollar here and there, and he's online buying everything, so.
So you would have the line item that it would be charged to,
Oh, yeah.
and you'd have a purchase order number for that.
Well, they don't use, that's a little deceiving, because we don't use purchase orders really anymore. It's just the whole, I'll give somebody kind of a purchase order number if they need it, but the treasurer's office doesn't really, they don't really use those anymore like we used to, because it's all electronic and everything now.
Okay.
So it's like, we're gonna buy it, whatever, for this much, okay. But it's all we're only buying things that are in our lines.
Right.
So once we purchase it,
Take that out of
excuse me,
your
when
line
the credit
and
card
it's
bill
done.
comes in,
Yep,
Teresa stamps it, and she puts the line item that we're billing it to, and I sign it.
fine by me.
Whether it's a piece of equipment or whatever.
I'm good with that, as long as we're doing it by line item,
Oh, absolutely,
I'm all good with that.
absolutely.
And looking at these credit card procedures, probably we should update them, but.
Yeah, I would say.
Well,
Well, if we're not doing purchase orders anymore, I
Yeah.
would say that would be.
We have to be
yeah, that
specific.
needs to come out.
But I think we should increase your limit, so I think we should do that tonight. So
I just want to let you know what we're doing with
Yeah.
it, and what the reason for it. It's really kind of,
Okay, I'd Entertain a motion to increase the Public Works credit card limit to $5,000.
$4,000.
What's the difference?
It's just that what we're doing is we're giving one area a whole different carte blanche than we give everybody else. So I think that if we cut back a little bit on it, it makes
Could I
us,
make a suggestion? Not to give it to one area, but to give it to two. Also include Parks and Rec, to increase hers. It is very encumbering for us to purchase things with such a small. I need a PoE switch and 2 monitors, that's over $1,000 for IT. And we use our credit card for 5 budgets. So, and Parks and Recs, sometimes I call her and ask her to purchase it on her credit card. So,
Well, but I think Public Works is special. I think I can understand where Public Works would need a bigger credit limit.
Melissa should be increased some anyway.
Yes, I would
All
agree
right.
with that.
She buys
Melissa as
trip
well.
tickets and a lot of other stuff in
Yeah.
advance, and it's probably limiting her to.
but Dale, I guess you could look at it this way too. $1,000, every department has $1,000. Well, we have 5 departments we handle. So
That's $5,000.
realistically, you're not overstepping in
any one.
anybody else because technically, you know, I mean.
Okay, all right.
Maybe we should, you didn't make that a motion, though, did you? Or did you?
No, I don't think
No.
we
I did
Maybe we should give Melissa,
Want to give her 3 or something
give her
like
2 and see where she
2,000?
goes from
Yeah,
there.
all right, so let's,
All right, so make a motion then to give Public Works a $5,000 credit limit on the credit card, and also make a motion for Park and Recs to increase their credit line to $2,000, and to be reviewed again in 6 months.
Second.
okay. So that's really one motion.
One
Yeah,
motion.
one motion,
Okay.
she just.
Discussion?
No, I just want to say, what they do over there in the highway department is the most expensive department in the town, because 2 tires could cost them $1,000. All right? I mean, they got very expensive things to fix over there. So really, $5,000 is better. It's not a lot of money when you're fixing trucks and equipment. Not when it comes down to that iron, you know? For sure. That's all I want to say.
Okay. There's no further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, you'll be back.
I will,
Well, you might as well stay here.
more than once.
Stay. Because
What's next?
next is the South Road oil spill.
Okay. I do have to make a trip back in my chair.
Oh, gosh, we got papers that make.
Oh, I'm not gonna read this whole folder.
Okay, let me just give an overview, and then you can fill in some details. This week, I'm not sure if it's this week or last week, we had maybe it was last week.
Last week, yes, last week.
Had a conference call with Josh Hoxlad and Representative Dustin Mitchell from
ESI.
ESI, Environmental Services Incorporated. And Dennis is going to be paid, or Dustin is going to be paid from KERMA in the $10,000 we pay him. The deductible, and now KERMA's going to go on and pay additional, I guess, $30,000 to fill in the hole and do the rest of the remediation. And tell me what I missed.
Well, you did good. Subsequent to that, there's been, and I don't know, Bob, somehow I got something on Friday afternoon, and I don't know why you're not on these anymore, but it's from Chubb in Kerma. Anyhow, what happens is, as you recall, ECC, who was the environmental consultant that State Farm, who is the woman's insurance company, they hired an environmental consultant. He wanted a 2-week notice before we did any work there. So based upon this conference call, Chubb agreed that they're gonna pay for at least the backfilling and what have you. I think they're still negotiating as far as this system to evacuate the vapors and all that stuff. But so they've agreed to pay that, his number to do that. And he contacted this ECC for the 2-week notice, and the gentleman said to him, I need to find that particular email. Well, basically what the gentleman said to him is that State Farm has said they're not going to kick in any money towards that, so he doesn't have to be, they don't want him to go up to the site. They have,
Change their
they
mind.
declined the claim, basically,
Mhm.
and supposedly they sent the woman who lives there a letter stating that like a week ago or something. So the gentleman from ECC said that, you know, they don't need me to be there anymore because they don't plan on chipping anything in. I'm hoping actually Chubb goes after State Farm once all is said and done, but that's a whole nother issue. So I need to hear back from him as to when he's gonna go out. He may actually, instead of waiting for although it's been kind of crappy out, he may be out there as early as tomorrow or like next week instead of having to wait. He was thinking it'd be the end of June by the time they coordinate everything. But I guess now he can kind of go at his leisure to let us know. So Chubb has agreed to pay for the backfill. They're still negotiating. Part of the problem is with the SVE system, which will take the vapors from underneath the foundation, is this thing's gonna run 24/7 for however many months it's running. It's basically a big vacuum that's gonna suck. And the woman who lives there didn't want to pay the electric bill. Chubb told Dustin that they prefer, rather than trying to negotiate some cost with her, that they put a temporary meter up for the system, so it will power the system. And then Dustin was saying, well, we'll just build the town, and then Josh said, don't keep the town out of that. Put it in your name, you pay for it, and then you deal with Chubb for your reimbursement for whatever the electrical cost is. The town does not need to be involved in that. So now they're trying to, he's got to get an electrician, put the power up. But they've got to agree on that particular, I don't believe they've agreed on that particular issue yet. Because they were actually going to, the other environmental consultant wanted them to take a sample before they finished back. They wanted them to dig it out again and take a sample to see what was there. But so anyhow, that's where it is. It should be, at least the hole should be backfilled, and unfortunately, the sidewalk started caving in because it was so, they jerked around with it so long, so now they gotta fix her. She's got a sidewalk in the back, so his price went up a little bit because there's more that has to be done. But that's where we are. It's finally seems like it's moving forward. The insurance companies kind of got off the mark, and
But we're still
I think-
hanging out for the $10,000.
yes,
stuff.
we will hang out for the 10,000. As a matter of fact, we've already paid that bill. He's already received our 10,000. I think he's even received the 50, whatever it was from Chubb as well. So he's paid today.
Okay.
And they did negotiate some things with him.
Good.
They thought he was maybe charging. So they did their insurance company thing. So that's where that is.
Okay.
Has the town attorney taken steps to lien the property for the 10,000 that we're out?
No,
I think it's time
Not that we're
that we
aware of.
start looking at that.
okay, you're on the legal subcommittee, you could,
Well, no, you're still the first selectman.
and I have no authority over the legal
Oh, you
subcommittee.
certainly do.
Oh,
Come off
You want me to read it? Got it right
Don't
here.
even bother.
All right,
But you know what? We need to protect the taxpayers in this town from this
go for it.
garbage.
Well, and I hope that somebody goes after her insurance company or something.
Well, I think, she may go after him after she gets notice of an intent to lien. Because, you buy homeowners insurance, it should protect your home.
How much money do these people actually have? Well, they're gonna go hire an attorney and be able to do it.
Her, she won't do it.
She'll get
Okay,
she'll get
she's not gonna do it, so we're gonna spend, probably when it's all said and done down the road, $15,000 to try to collect 10. Oh, come on, you know how attorneys are.
It's a simple.
Some things you just have to say bye-bye and write it off, and that's the end of it. And furthermore, we should be thinking about how we can get that land to those people and get it out of our
Please,
ownership here.
please.
Tomorrow morning
Don't tell
would be
me
a good
we
thing.
can't do it. There's gotta be a way to do it.
Well, there is a way to do it.
Give them the land for $1 and let them pay taxes on the land and the house.
Catching on.
And the sewer
I've been
system.
saying it right along, Dick, from day one. Everybody says it can't be done. It can be done.
Quite as easy, but.
Anyway,
All right, so we're gonna
So
move
that's-
on to new business.
move
Good.
on, moving
Good.
on.
Moving on.
Thank you again.
That's a trucker's son.
You'll be
Moving
back
on.
up.
Okay.
I can go sit in the back with you.
Well, just for a
Oh,
little
for a
while.
few anyways.
In your package, you found a letter that was written by the Coalition Against Casino Expansion in Connecticut, and they request a waiver of Freedom of Information fees. The amount of the waiver is $401.50. So I would entertain a motion to move to deny the Coalition Against Casino Expansion in Connecticut the request for a waiver of the Freedom of Information fees.
I will make that motion.
Okay, is there a second?
Sure.
Steve got it.
Okay, any discussion?
Yeah, we should discuss it.
Okay, go
I mean,
ahead.
it looks like we're being a bunch of hard you-know-whats. You know what? Town staff spent a lot of time and effort on this to come up with $401 worth at 50 cents a page. This probably doesn't even come close to covering our costs.
Right.
And some of the audience said previously that we should treat everybody equal.
So if I have to pay, they have to pay.
You got it.
Right?
Okay.
Regis paid.
Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Motion passes. Now, discussion and approval of Scout Hall generator. I don't think we'll have an approval, but we'll have a discussion. So maybe Joe or Len?
You guys are back again?
You
I
hear
thought I was
it,
gonna
They're
Ken.
featured. This,
How'd you get hooked into this?
More free than that, actually. I don't know which one to stuck it in. No. Yep. Feel free to join me out here. I don't know.
he has great confidence in you.
I think this is called hanging me out to dry, is what it's called.
I think you got set up on this one.
So we have looked into, there's two generators that I guess the Scout Hall Building Committee purchased. And we were looking into the possibility of using one of those for generating the building. And having brought our electrician over initially, and then Powers, who's our generator contractor, consulting, subcontractor, whatever, vendor, that, the generator, I think, is a 30 or 35 kW. Well, they've determined to run the building, to really run the building. If you wanna, we're trying to do things not half-ass anymore, so we wanna run the building, not 14 plugs, 3 lights. We need a 100 kW generator. So what's in front of you is what they gave us for a proposal for a 100 kW generator. Now, this all stems from the fact that, well, part of it, that the WPCA is going to take over the pump station. I think officially somehow, but that's really not my gig. That's something between the WPCA and the Board of Selectmen, how all that's going to shake out, and what kind of an agreement you need and all that stuff. But once they take it over, it needs to be generated, I believe, according to law. Deep or somebody, right? That's what we were told, so.
So they need a generator to run the pump. And the,
Because electricity is tied into the building, it's not a, their pump station's not a standalone pump station, the electricity is powered out of the building. And it's, those pumps that they're installing are three-phase, 52 amp pumps, which that's a substantial amount of power that is needed.
okay.
So between that, it's, you know, what they're looking at here is, if for whatever reason, the pumps have to be running, it's on a well, so you got a well pump, and you got units on the roof for, you know, heating and air. Heating isn't quite as bad, I guess, as air conditioning, but between the compressors and the pumps and everything running, this is what they feel that is the right size.
Okay, and the other two generators that the Scout Hall had, they said that maybe we could sell them? Is that what they were talking?
I don't know, I didn't
Yeah.
hear that.
Okay.
I wasn't involved in that, no.
Okay.
Part of the problems with their generators that they have are the switches are, they're not capable to handle the load that we're expecting. The other problem is the utility room they have there. In order to make one of those generators run a few things plus the pumps, the cost for an electrician to reroute and the switch would not justify the means according to Powers, our vendor. They're the ones who support us now with all our other generators. And I might add that we bought a 100 kW tow-behind generator for $52,000 2 years ago off a state bid list. That's the one we put at the fire station while that one was down. $56,000 on the grand scheme of things for a generator installed with the switch, all wired, done, including pad. The only thing it doesn't include is the gas hookup, which a plumber would do. Is not a very unreasonable price. I know it's a lot of money in general, but I mean, we paid
When you look at
over,
what you're getting.
we paid over $80,000 for the one that's in the backyard here.
How many Ks is that?
110.
110.
The last time we talked about this, there was a talk about getting rid of the two generators they have. Okay, we did discuss that.
Yeah.
And so would these people take those two generators?
They are not interested in the, I asked them.
They're not interested
not
in
big-
taking it in on a trade or
For
something?
the reason being is the switches are really not usable in today's market, so they're really not interested in them, in the email that he sent me. Because I asked him, I said, well, what are they worth, what kind of credit? And, you know, I mean, the generators they have low hours, just unfortunately.
How big are they?
One's a 30 kW propane, and then the 45 kW is natural gas.
So the town owns those generators?
No.
No,
Scout Hall.
Scout Hall bought them, I believe.
Yes,
Which one has the enclosure?
the 30.
Okay.
The other
How
one-
much is it gonna take to run the pump? Not two, because you're almost, the chances of both pumps running at the same time are so negligible that you
One
could
pump-
probably walk to Mars faster.
One pump is 50 amps,
Yeah,
three-phase.
so how many kilowatts does that need? I'm not an electrician, but I would hope that to have an electrician explain.
Well,
Would
if
a
you're-
30 kW run it? Yes,
Thank you.
just the pump.
Fine.
But, well, that's fine, but there's gonna have to be some wiring done because the power comes out of the Scout Hall building to that pump station.
Yep.
Which, by the way, we've been paying for the power for that pump station for all this time anyhow, but I guess technically it's been ours up to now, so there probably needs to be electrical work
I
done
don't
out there
think we can
too.
bill Paul because he won't pay for anything.
If you do whatever you're doing,
And you
there's,
could put the transfer switch right there on the outlet coming out of the building.
My
run it with a
recommendation would be,
30
if that's what
kW.
you want to do is just run the pump, then my recommendation was to put the generator next to the pump station.
That's fine.
Have CLNP put a meter there, and then you could put a simple switch there. It would probably have to be a manual switch, or maybe an automatic switch can be purchased.
Well,
But the technology in that generator will not handle I don't believe it will handle an auto switch, so it will have to be manually turned on.
Hard to believe we'll handle it.
No, I think those were auto, those switches were all auto.
But they're all solenoid driven, not,
Well,
that's,
solenoids work.
I'm just saying, I'm not a generator
This
person.
is a big expense to be non-budgeted. This should be a capital improvement project.
It could be.
As far as I'm concerned, we should agree to go out there to the control box at the pump station, put the plug in for the WPCA so that they can come down and plug their generator into
But
the
their
pump
generator won't
station.
run it, a portable generator will not run a three-phase pump. Dick.
Why
They
not?
don't have a generator big enough.
Well, you got a 30 kW, put wheels under it.
And wheels, but then it'll need fuel.
Yep. Fuel
You gotta get
usually
fuel.
goes on the tank right underneath.
If you're gonna go, I mean, you might as well just put the generator up there if you're gonna go. If it's only gonna run it, you could just put a pad out there and drop it
Why
there.
would you, what is it, a diesel powered generator?
Propane, that one's.
That one's
Well,
broken.
that's easy enough to change to natural gas. That's
No, I'm just
only a
saying, if
problem.
you're, right, I'm saying, instead of putting wheels on it, just mount it there and on a
Okay.
pad and.
If you got the generator, because you know what, this looks to me like just a veiled approach to try and get a generator for Scout Hall where it never had one and do it without
No, no,
budgeting. And I'm not for
This
it.
is what we were asked to do, and this is.
And it hasn't even gone to the building commission yet.
No, this is just, we were
But
just
the building
initially
commission was
getting.
represented there.
Yes.
Yeah,
By Al.
I know you were.
None of them, Al,
Yep,
Tom,
Yep.
and Jim Thurs were all there.
yep. Well, how about the rest of them?
This.
We have meetings.
Well, we haven't had any, or they
Well,
haven't
it's
had
time
any.
to
But
have
this is just a number, so that
Yep.
the board would know what it would
Yep.
cost.
And the other thing you're
And-
looking at, okay, if it's just a number, because you still need 2 more quotes
Well,
for
this.
purchasing.
Right.
And the other thing is, somebody needs to go hat in hand to the Board of Finance and let them try to tell you where the money's coming from. Because we don't even know what they're gonna do to us in Hartford yet. Never mind spend this kind of money. I'm sorry.
Agreed.
The timing's wrong.
Okay, can I speak? I'm assuming that we want to get a good generator. And I'm assuming this size generator is not just for that pump.
No.
That's so if we have an emergency, or we lose our power everywhere like we did that one season, that this building could be self-sustaining.
This generator will run that whole building.
That's right, that's what I'm assuming here.
Pumps.
It'll
Well,
run everything, so I'm assuming now, if the town of East Windsor's people needed a place to go in an emergency, that they could go to that building.
Yeah.
Am I correct in that assumption?
I think yes.
With a full kitchen.
Okay, so it's kind of an emergency place for the town.
Well,
So
it
then-
would, obviously, it would definitely be turned into a shelter if it was.
Right, that's just
generated
what I'm
like this.
talking about. So now we've got a generator that we don't have to worry about running that place. And like you said a minute ago, it's time we stop doing things half-assed around here. Okay, by trying to hook up 2 generators to one, and that's nonsense, in my opinion, Dick, I'm sorry.
Well,
So let's just start doing things right around here. Stop, okay? I mean, we do have some money, we do have some money. We have that extra money that we could dig into to get this done right the first time. We gotta start doing things right the first time. Stop playing around.
Yeah.
I know you're gonna fall over, but I agree with you.
should I call the ambulance, Steve?
Now,
Geez, 911.
because once this one generator goes in there, now we have a emergency management area, one part of town, we have another part of town. We never know where the emergency is gonna hit us. So we've got 2 areas that we can go to. Once we put this generator in, we're done, right?
Yes, ma'am.
We're done. You own it, we're done.
No.
No, we own it.
We own it.
He
We
owns
would
the
maintain
pump.
it, we would service it, it would be on our list of,
It's our.
It's ours.
Our generator.
It's our building, so it's our, well, it's a town's building, so it's a town's generator.
But WPCA will take over the
The pump.
maintaining of the pump.
Right.
Correct?
But that's,
Pump station, yes,
You're gonna run that,
correct.
okay.
Okay, I'm getting a clearer picture, just.
And then any motors that run on propane will run forever and ever and ever and ever.
Well, we'll have
and ever.
natural gas,
No,
right?
you don't want propane.
Well, I'm talking about natural gas.
We have
Yeah,
that.
this'll be-
Dick, you want to say?
Yeah, I do want to, you're right, what you said, Steve, except you're forgetting. We already have 2 buildings in town now that can serve as shelters because we upgraded the generators on both of them. How many shelters are we gonna have? I mean, it would be wonderful to do it, but I'm saying we need to run this thing through the process and not go off half-cocked.
Well, run it through the process.
Yeah,
You know, this needs to be budgeted.
Well, yeah, I think when I was at the last Board of Selectmen meeting, we weren't sure whether we were going to use the 2 generators or what we're going to do. Well,
Can't
now,
use 2.
I think we're kind of sure that we can't use the 2 generators.
Right.
And this is something that's put before us. I think we have to go back and take this information and work with it, figure out what we're going to do. But I think this is a good conversation. I think if we are going to put make a good facility there to handle emergencies, then we should put a large generator in. But now the two ones we do have, that's the high school and the
You got
police.
the Broadbrook Firehouse and you got right here, and we've used them both for shelters.
How about the high school?
No.
They
That
wouldn't
doesn't
let
have
us
a
use it
generator.
that time, remember?
Well, I thought,
The high school's a nightmare because the electrical is a
That's
conglomeration
what,
of horrors.
$100,000 or better to,
okay.
Forget the high
Currently,
school.
currently in our free time, we're going to have to hire an electrical engineer to design a way for us to do something at the high
it's
school.
so,
I wouldn't
there's
know.
such
Okay.
a craziness inside there, the way the power
There's
is.
so many times
You
it's
can't
been
just
added
plug a
on.
generator in like we thought we could.
Oh, no. Wiring
there was
comes
a
from the wrong
time-
end of the building.
When we wanted to use the high school, so people could use the showers and all that stuff, right? I don't know, I don't think the power was out down there, okay?
One of the storms, we did put people in the gym.
But from what I understand, the
Yeah, but
school
they wouldn't let
board
you
and
use
them,
the
they
showers.
fought tooth and nail, they didn't want people using it for a shelter or people to go in there for an emergency. Now, I thought the town of East Windsor owned those buildings.
They do.
So how can they tell us we can't let people go in there and use showers and other things?
I think
In
if
an
we are,
emergency.
if we want to do that, we should plan ahead a little bit. We shouldn't just
Well,
call
that's
them
what
up
we're
and
doing
say-
here tonight, we're
Yeah,
planning.
yeah, and, go ahead, Dale.
Well, the town hall is set up as an emergency shelter, but it doesn't have showers, it doesn't have a kitchen like the Scout Hall does. I mean, there's no, you could put some cots in here, you can get away with it maybe overnight, but
How
gee
many
whiz.
people are in town, 11,000?
Well, well, the last one was, they couldn't cook. I mean, there was no place to cook.
But if everybody was freezing to death, at least they could go to a
Yeah,
place
they
to
could
get
come in
warm.
here and be warm.
All right,
Yeah,
but you're not gonna
there's
fit a
limited
lot of
cooking.
people in this building.
No.
No.
So this building is really useless for a shelter, for really any kind of an emergency.
Is there showers in Scout Hall?
There's one.
One, well,
There's really nothing there either.
Behind the locked
And the
door.
other thing you're not figuring into a factor is the state of Connecticut has shower trailers readily available for picking up the phone and calling. You bring them in, they're self-contained, and you can go into any place, put the showers right out there in the parking lot, and it's totally self-contained and you're done.
Well,
An issue.
Yeah.
And I've never
Emergency
seen anybody
management.
die from not taking a shower one night. Maybe it wouldn't be pleasant to be around them, but
Well, you know something,
Nobody's
I
gonna
lost
die.
power at my house for almost 10 days. Luckily for me, I had a generator that ran my house, that I hauled
okay,
over
let's
there.
big
move on.
emergency we had, they were only here overnight and it was over with anyway.
Not that one storm, Dick, it was like a week to 10
Well,
days.
maybe for you, but not most of, they only were here shelter-wise, what, 1, 2 nights at the most? And it was over.
You gotta be ready.
Okay.
You can't figure for the once-in-a-lifetime problem either, Steve. You need to take care of the norm, the everyday, transmission line goes down, it's down overnight now. That you can figure for. You can't figure for the 150-year, 200-year storm that happens once in a lifetime, maybe. That's wasting money. And besides, that pump station ran for years without any generator, and I never saw any sewage flowing in the road. Because you got a wet well in there, and if you had to pump it once, big deal. what is it, a few $100?
Dale,
Can we move on to C now?
I would like to do that.
I think so.
Would you like us to do something? We work for you, so we got a price, we got a price from our vendor. So if you would like us to do something else,
I would say,
ask us. If you
Building.
don't want us to do something else, that's okay too.
I would say Building Committee, Board of Finance, and go from there.
Yeah.
It goes,
And they're
you
probably-
go to the Board of Finance, Building Committee, we come to you, you go to them to find the money, and then you come back to us.
I think it's in our, the ball's in our court.
Right, I mean, this is a budget number, so
Right.
now I guess it's up to you all, if you want to go to the Board of Finance and say, we need this for this purpose. And once you appropriated this budget number, then we would put it out to bid, because it's over 20,000, and then we'd go from there.
And town meeting?
Oh,
It
yeah.
would have to be, because you're gonna do an added appropriation, I would imagine.
I mean,
No, we could put it in next year's budget.
But you could do that too.
It's that simple.
Again,
Put it in the
I don't-
CIP for next year.
correct me if I'm wrong.
Not a big deal.
I don't think this is an emergency that has to be done
Absolutely not.
before July 1st or
I think so.
before
No, I
anything,
agree.
so. I
Absolutely
mean,
not.
it's a number, it's a process, it's being started, and
That's
So
fine.
you're gonna go get 2 more bids, because you know everybody's gonna ask for it.
well, it depends on, I mean, I hate to bother, I gotta be honest with you, it gets to be a problem when you keep asking people for prices and you don't ever buy anything. Now, if the Board of Selectmen went to the Board of Finance and they said, yeah, that's a good idea, obviously, anything, if something comes in less than that, that's great, we're not gonna pay anything more than that, so that's a good budget number. So if it went through the process and got to the building committee and you said, yeah, let's do this, it's a great idea, well, we'll get 2 more prices to go with that. Actually.
Powers is our preferred vendor, they have
It's our
been
preferred
vetted.
vendor, yes, but, I mean, that's $56,000, so quite honestly, technically, it has to be a sealed bid.
Yes, it does.
And you gotta do more to get
And
3
you really-
prices,
and
So
you
they
really
have to
can't-
put this in an envelope and hand it back to you.
basically.
Well, or he might adjust his price when he knows he's bidding too.
And now we put it out in public and so.
This is a budget number, and I told them that's what it was.
And you still got an open end on the plumbing. That should be part of the bid too.
That may be the only bid we get.
Then you put it out to bid, didn't you?
Right, exactly.
It's fine.
Right.
That's what
We
the
have no
process
control
is.
over how many people bid it,
But
but.
what I'm saying, this really can't be, this is a budget numbers, until the Board of Finance hears it.
we
They
can't.
gotta get involved in this thing, because where's the money coming from? The money tree, isn't out front anymore, they cut it down.
We work for you.
We pulled it out.
We got the number for you. We got a
Yep,
number for
yep,
you
yep.
to work with, so you could get an idea as
Did
to
you
what
get
it would
you
cost.
get the quote for the plumbing too? For the gas line?
To connect the gas lines, it's gonna be about $300-400.
Well, that's good.
It's right
Throw it in
there. It's not, it's, you know.
I was
I'm
gonna have
pretty-
Joe do it and get fire insurance. Or would that be explosion
No, I don't think Joe
insurance?
can do that. Well, yeah, he can, because he's employed by the town. And then we're covering it.
So,
Okay.
See it is?
We'll move on to C. And what this is we're going to, on June 20th, we're going to get bond anticipation notes for the middle school roof. And Gail, or a treasurer has to sign it, and I have to sign it. So what we'd like to do is authorize Gail, and empower Gail to sign for the bonding notes. And I made up a
Oh,
motion.
you want to make one up? Okay, let me see. Yep, that sounds good. You should be named then bonded, actually. In other words, the treasurer could be named, the new treasurer, but until they bonded, they really shouldn't be signing notes of anticipation.
Well, this is not, this says, this tells the limit of her. It says, to consider and act upon the resolution authorizing and empowering the interim treasurer, Gail Carolis, to sign bond anticipation note documents and bond documents until a new treasurer has been named.
So a new treasurer has been named and bonded,
Okay. All right.
because otherwise the town, I'm gonna change, okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, I'll make a motion to consider, to act a resolution authorizing and empowering the interim town treasurer, Gail Corollis, to sign bond anticipation note documents and bonding documents until a new treasurer has been named and bonded.
Okay. Is there a second? Okay. Discussion?
We've done this before.
Yes.
With
we
other
have to do
treasurers.
it. Yeah.
We really have to do this.
Okay, all those in favor?
I,
Okay. And,
When he took off already, too bad.
did he?
No,
No, okay.
you're just using the restroom. The hot pot, you're ready to go
All right,
there.
I just want to, it would be nice, because Lenny's going to talk about a hot box, and that's the, but in the interim, there's the South Floor long-term, and I thought I'd just have a little discussion on that. And here, I'll pass out some pictures. All right.
No, that's one.
Oh, next
That's
one, okay.
Jason's.
That's Jason.
Oh, that looks nice.
Yeah, the first pictures are just what's going to be filled in. So first few pictures are what it looked like, but it won't look like this in a few weeks. And there's the third picture is the oil tank in the backyard. But what I want to bring out of these pictures are the trees. Look at the trees, and if you see that shed in the backyard by the oil tank, that's where they're going to put the vacuuming equipment to take the fumes out from under the foundation. But next to that shed is this big tree. And then, if you, again, you see the back of the house, that big tree's back there. And then if you look at the front of the house, and then with the telephone pole, there's another big tree. Or not another, it's the same big tree that's in the back of this woman's yard. And then there's a second big tree. So these big trees are hanging over her house, and limbs are falling down on top of her house. And my point is, this property we own with 16 houses on South Road, and we rent the property to them, is not only does it have oil tanks that are ready to leak and cost us $10,000 a pop, and probably Kerma will drop us as insurance, but it has trees in the backyards of these houses that, since we own the property, I don't know how we can say we're not responsible for the damage the trees done. Moving on, you see somebody else's backyard, and the second to last picture is the woman standing by the big tree in her backyard. And then you see the corner of a house, and the roots from that big tree are actually breaking up her foundation. They're going into her, so there's a tree problem there. And as, I forgot who mentioned it, but we also have a sewer problem that they'll have to take over the sewers. And we have a hard time collecting rents from some of the people. So this is a serious situation. And I think it has to be taken as a whole, not one problem at a time. And so we might think about getting a lawyer involved and trying to work our way out of this place.
I know that we had a good-sized file because it went back and forth as far as how best to assist the residents of South Road. I think if you go back in your files, you'll find a bunch of stuff on that.
I'll look, but I'm looking for a solution. And I don't think the solution we have now is a solution at all.
No, the solution we have now is not working, absolutely.
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 So I'd like to see, and I don't know if Joe's here, but I know, yes.
Yeah, he'd like us to-
Joe is a resident who's been here, living there 25 years, and it's a good place to live, except for the trees and the oil tanks. But he's been advocating for ownership, individual ownership, for a long time, and so that's something we should look into.
I got a couple questions. I don't know if Carol might know, or Leonard. Are these lots defined at all? Each house is a separate parcel?
For lease, there's lease lines.
In other words, it's so many degrees, so many minutes northwest, so many feet to
think they
the...
had to do that.
It's just like a
I think
survey.
So in other words, it's all, they're all surveyed out.
It's like a survey.
They're all surveyed out.
It may, well, it may be a little more rough than that. It may be like 100 by 200 or whatever, then it may not be like no angles or no angles or bearings or anything. It may just be, 150, 50 feet or whatever it is by 100.
So
or something,
theoretically,
whatever.
I think it's.
There is a plan.
Is it?
I've got all my paperwork, I should have brought it with me.
yeah, I wish you did. I'd like to see it.
They should have it in the planning department, I would think,
I'm
right?
gonna go get it.
Well, I think,
I
I just wanted to bring it up. I think we're going to put this on the agenda.
Oh, we
you know,
sure are.
Slide into old business and as we progress and make, and that'll be what we'll bring to the next
I
meeting.
think it's that time that we do.
Can
I
I
think
give
Joe
you
can...
guys?
Condominium.
I didn't hear what you
Can I
said.
bring this paper up to you and give you?
Sure.
Oh, yeah, we won't bite.
This is a page from our land lease.
Why don't you give me my...
And this is what I've been talking to you about right along, and if I understand it right, hopefully,
Do you have a copy of this?
you can have that one.
Okay, and we have copies of the land lease, so.
Yeah, I got it somewhere. Yeah, you're right. But the idea is to divide this out to each individual owner, you're gonna have to have a lot description for each parcel.
It hasn't.
Yeah, I'll read what he highlighted. It says here, however, in the event, however, in the event leaser desires to sell or convey the leased property to any person or entity other than a nonprofit corporation, charitable trust, governmental agency, or other similar entity sharing the goals and objectives set forth in the recitals above, the leasee shall have the right of first refusal to purchase the leased premises at a fair market price. So I guess that says that if somebody tries to sell the property, then the leasee can buy the property if they're not selling it to one of these nonprofit organizations. Is that?
That's the way I understand it.
The legal beagles can,
If
but
it was that simple, we would have done that 5 years
you
ago.
would think so.
Did we see what he just read 5 years
I've
ago?
seen the
I
whole
think
thing.
you're gonna find that the planning department's gonna tell you that you cannot make a subdivision out of that because it's gonna be a completely non-conforming subdivision.
Oh, well.
And so be it.
But I think what the better option might be, would be to turn it into a condominium association where
It would be
they would have a HOA fee that would take care of some of, like, the road and different things like that. Huh?
The road is the town's road.
Yeah, but it can't, it's not gonna be a town road if that becomes a condominium development.
Well,
If
we
we had to
we
take the
could,
road, we could live
we
with
could
it.
might take over the road if they would.
Well, whatever, but I'm just
Whatever.
saying, that might be,
That would be the cleanest way to do it.
that might be the cleanest way to do it, because I don't know that you can really create 16 non-conforming lots out of the blue. But if it's
CPA
just
would
a
have a
lease
job
lot,
on
but
their
if it's
hands.
like these condo develop, well, like where you live, Bob.
Yeah, yeah.
If it's like that, where you have your area that's yours, whatever, and it's
Yeah.
spelled out like in that document,
I have a warranty deed that
Yeah.
specifies
Yeah.
exact
Yeah,
yeah, so,
measurements and locations
Yeah.
and that.
that could be tough to produce.
Well-
The cleanest way might be, we gotta research that legally too, but
But also what we need to do is, I don't know, maybe small cities grant or something, we do definitely need to get the sewer lines fixed before, and because, like you say, I mean, we're not rich in there, but for us to come up with an estimate that Paul had $80,000 to repair the sewers, if there's any kind of grants or something, see, it is still considered low to moderate income.
Maybe it is, yeah.
It should
That's
be.
an option we could check into, so.
that might be a
There's some work to be done.
good,
And we'll bring it up every 2 weeks and move forward.
maybe that's a good
Yeah.
place for the small cities grant.
Carol, is-
We may want to meet outside of this type of thing where people can put stuff together, and we can perhaps include Lori Whitten, because with the development of West River Farms, they're much smaller lots, they're much more condensed area. We may be able to bring these folks up to that, but I want to make certain first legally, when we took title to that, there were certain covenants and restrictions from the United States government. Are we even allowed to do this?
We have to look to see. That's taken out of context. That's referring to something a little funky there.
Yeah.
So I really would like to take a look at the whole thing before I say to you, yes, it has to do with the land and not with the houses. So you have to really look at that and be
An ounce of
careful.
common sense on this whole thing.
So I know there's a lot of background on this because at one time we talked about this, so
Yep, we
we'll have to see.
Gotta research the deeds.
Yeah, I think it needs some work. I don't disagree with doing it. I think it's, if we can do it, great. It's a remedy that I think needs to be addressed.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay, well, let's move on. And the next topic is, no? You gotta have Joe come up here, and Joe and Lenny. Okay.
Huh? Oh,
Huh? Oh,
Discussion of hot box.
hang on here. Not that I care.
okay.
Here we go
Hot box
again.
again?
No, it's not again, see, that's the thing.
About this 5 times.
No, we did not. We talked about an asphalt recycler.
We call it a hot box.
Here's the difference. Here's the, I'm gonna show you.
Okay.
Get the right stuff here. The initial purchase that we made, which we have taken, well, sort of, taken to, was this thing right here that will make hot asphalt, fresh hot asphalt out of millings, curbing, what have you. You take used asphalt, add a little bit of a emulsion liquid to it, put it in this thing, it heats up, and you make hot asphalt from scrap, basically. And you can make hot asphalt in the winter now to patch potholes instead of using cold patch, which doesn't work. I don't care which kind you buy.
So you just need a pile of millings.
I got some.
Broken asphalt,
Yeah,
curbing.
anything, really.
Anything.
They actually, when they delivered this machine to Ellington, who's going to house it, they actually threw curbing in it, because they wanted to see, we have millings we want to use, they have curbing.
Curbing or whatever.
So this was the initial purchase that we did the intertown agreement on and did all that stuff. Well, when they delivered this a couple weeks ago, they brought this with them. Right here on the left. That's a hot box. It's a 4-ton hot box. It will take 4 tons of hot mix asphalt and keep it hot. It runs on diesel fuel. It will keep the material hot. So this can be used 2 ways. You put the material that you make here in this and keep it hot, or you can drive this to Glasso, pull under the chute, drop 3 or 4 tons in it, and it will keep it hot while you're trying to work it, since we don't have heated bodies on any of our trucks or what have you. Then, if you don't use all the material the day you're using it, there's a timer on this. You set it to start at like 4 o'clock in the morning. You show up at 7 o'clock, your material's hot and fresh again for you to go out and go patch. So you're not making additional trips to Galasso, you're not rushing to use material, and you're not wasting the material, whether you're making it with your millings or buying it fresh at Galasso. So they gave us this is a $33,000 machine. They knocked it down to $20-something thousand. So the 3 of us towns, we added this to our inventory. We're gonna add this to our intertown agreement with Ellington and Summers.
Yeah, and you told me you paid for it with $9,000
Yes.
out of your current.
Yeah, we're not looking for
Line
money. We have the equipment, money in our equipment line. We're not looking for any more money.
You're just here to show us what
I'm just
you did.
showing you what we're doing, so when you see this thing, you don't go, what the hell's that?
I probably
What did
was
Norton
up
do
to that.
now?
Yeah.
Oh, Norton pulled a good one. Hey, now what you need to do is go see a couple of these pavers, because they've always got a half yard or a quarter yard of asphalt left over at the end of the day. Have them put it in the pile for
There you
you.
go.
That thing will make it work.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a good
Buy
idea.
millings from
See
68
Kevin Charette, I
Newberry
bet you can get it every day.
Well, so far I got a file, but I'll keep you in mind.
Keep it in mind.
Okay, thanks, Lenny.
So it was an information, I wanted you to know what we're
You
doing.
get a pat on the head for
Thank
this
you.
one. Good.
That's a good deal.
Same deal, Arlington's gonna house it?
Yes, and I think you're done with me, Tony, or I'm done with you.
Yes, yes,
however
thank
that
you
works.
for being
Probably
the
sick of
star
us by
tonight.
now.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Okay, and the added agenda item was 20 Willem Road.
You're gonna do the tax refunds first? That's the order.
What?
come in.
All right, if you want to do that.
Well,
Tax refunds is F and sale is G. I make a motion to approve the tax refunds dated 6/1/2017 in the amount of $669.59.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, and I'll pass these down. This is, we've got a contract on 20 Willem Road.
Thank you.
And we sold it for $10,000. And I gave it to our lawyer, I forgot his name, works for Hawkslad, and he put an addendum on it that was signed. And the addendum basically says that he has, I guess, 60 days to do a perk test on it. If it doesn't percolate, then he can back out of the agreement. But
Does that road have sewers on it?
No.
no,
So then they have a septic system.
Yep. Do we even need to sign this? Let him do his perk test.
well, the lawyer wanted, and in there, they had to do it within a certain time frame.
But we're not selling the building, correctly? Correct?
Well, I think it's a building lot, yeah. It's got a house on it. If it doesn't, well, I don't know.
Yeah, but we're not guaranteeing there's a building lot. I mean, okay, yeah, we are if we allow him to do a perk test.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
It is a building lot.
It's still illegal? Okay.
So we'll, if you approve, we'll send it to a town meeting. And this is a good thing to not have the town, in fact, it was, I shouldn't say this, but I'm me. When I went out and looked at it, and saw the trees hanging over the next door neighbor's house, I said to them, how much money you got in your wallet? Because I was willing to sell it to them for that. And then when a neighbor came over and didn't have a wallet, I said, well, how much change do you have? So $10,000 is worth it.
It's a good deal if it passes.
Yeah, if it perks, yeah. Okay, so I would entertain a motion, and actually I'll pass out one more thing. Because in this motion, we have to say the, let me do one more.
Oh, isn't it?
Have to say the map, block, and lot number to identify what we're talking about. So I would entertain a motion to sell to E&D Morgan Realty LLC, 20 Millam Road at the map 44, block 34, lot 7, for $10,000 and move to a town meeting.
Guess you need, what, a second?
Oh, okay.
Motion.
I'll take a motion, I guess, although I could make a
Alright.
motion.
I'm not making a motion.
Hmm?
I'm not making the motion, so one of you two can do it.
Why wouldn't you make the motion? What
Because
reason?
I think he should go do his perk test first,
Nah,
instead of going through all this garbage.
Well, okay, I'll make the motion. I move we sell the property at 20 Millam Road, Willem, map 44, block 34, lot 7, to E&D Morin Realty LLC for $10,000 and send this sale to a town meeting. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Discussion. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Opposed?
I'm abstaining.
Okay, good.
Get it done.
All right, Selectman
I wanted to
reports.
get it done.
Get her done.
And Dale, you
Oh, yeah, no, Jason. You can read his report on Facebook. 528 Melrose Parade, great community pride. This is the shortest parade around, but the patriotism is wonderful. 529 was a Memorial Day parade. Due to rain threat, the parade was shortened, but we were able to get through all the events planned on the Veterans Green. On 531, a group of us went to the Legislative Office Building in support of the casino. 6-3, I helped out with Relay for Life in Suffield at 7:30 in the morning. I was there to assist the chair of the survivors luncheon. We had a 14-year-old and a 12-year-old who were survivors, which really broke my heart, along with a woman that was a 32-year survivor. At 1 o'clock that afternoon, Abby's Hand and Touch Points. Carol Sauerhofer was contacted by the owner of Touch Points and wanted to reach out to the community. There was a band, food, raffle prizes, and just a great project. Many of the residents of Touch Points joined us outdoors for a great time for some food and for some sun. Due to the kindness of the attendees, we raised over $700. Thank you for all who support Abby's Helping Hand. 6-5, Warehouse Point Fire District meeting. The mill rate for the Warehouse Point Fire District is 1.3% and has been approved by the board. They are working on quotes for the air conditioning system at Station 1 as well as paving. There was quite a discussion about the concrete pad coming out of the station. Station number 2 still has cracks that have to be fixed, and a discussion about the AC system was discussed. Under new business, there was discussion about getting 1 or 2 more fire service maintainers, as sometimes there are only 2 at the station. Chief Barton has reached out to a couple of gentlemen, and he thinks they're interested. He thinks that he's got the position filled. Chief Barton stated that they were down on calls this month. He didn't give the number. Invoices for physicals came in today about $1,000. Engine number 1 required a $6,600 repair and $800 for a battery charger. It's a 1998. And engine number 6 need new valves. It's about $6,000. That's a 1990 date. It was fixed last year to pass, but this year is beyond. The new vehicle to replace the forestry truck was ordered to the tune of $46,874. There was talk of a skid unit. I do not believe it was included in the price. Tonight at 8:15, there are 2 commissioners whose terms have expired, and those will be filled. Tomorrow night at 7 p.m., they will elect officers. Done, done, and done.
okay. Dick?
Okay, American Heritage River Commission, May 18th. The water was up that day, and they were gonna start placarding the river as the condition of the water. Last time I looked, it was yellow. So, if you boated in it, it would be okay, but, you shouldn't be swimming in it much. It's been so warm, I don't think anybody's gonna go swimming in it anyway.
We can't do our polar plunge?
You can, go right ahead. E. coli testing and sampling is gonna continue. They're gonna start the monitoring next week on the E. coli, excuse me. Bottle can and receptacle activity, they've been doing good on that, that means they're getting some money. The update on the RTP grant, which is for that bridge up in Melrose, 3 bids should be ready, and they're gonna award the contract. Connecticut Day hikes, trails and plans, the brochures are available for the June 4th hike, which is already old news, right?
Yep, we have 40 people.
Yep, that's good. And the work party was scheduled for June 10th and 11th, which is coming up, and I'd be glad to have you help them. I did attend the planning and zoning, 3 applications, one for Penske for used car sales, one for recycled concrete products for renewal of their permit, and one for East Windsor Sportsman for an excavation permit. Aquifer protection regulations, the procedures were discussed extensively. It's quite a little operation. They're trying to make it as user-friendly as possible and trying to make it so that it doesn't cost anybody a fortune to do it. The paperwork is one day. Actually, what they did is they took one of the forms, took a hypothetical business, and did all the paperwork themselves and decided that the paperwork needed some revising because it's really ungainly. And East Windsor Zoning Board of Appeals, Harkins Landscape Supply and Garden Center was looking for a variance to install a handicap ramp and replace steps on the building, which would be too close to the building line. 50 feet is required. The steps would be 14 and the handicap ramp would be 44. That's on his new property, almost across from Phelps Road. It's just up the street from the garden place there. He's gonna be moving in there.
Which place is that?
Titus House, that gray house that John Burnham
Across
owned.
from the hairdresser.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
across-
old
was-
state trooper house.
Yeah, Titus,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
that one.
Harkins purchased that?
Yeah, Jamie got
Oh, yeah,
it.
okay.
I don't, yeah, Jamie, I think Jamie Gilbert owns that.
Huh.
Because they, what was the name they came under?
Jay.
T and J, so I presume the J is Jamie. And the other thing is Penske Truck Lease. Hey, didn't we just mention them? They had to go before the ZBA for a permit for used truck sales on the property where the trucks already exist, and of course that was granted. It was interesting that they only had 4 members there, which means all 4 had to vote yes in order for the first application to go through. And that's it.
Okay, Steve?
Well, like Dale said, a bunch of us went down to the Capitol on a bus that was chartered by Jimmy Balch. So we were all down there for a while. I spoke to Chris Davis when I was there. I thought the guy had listened. Obviously, he did not. But we all went down, spent some time there to show support for the casino, for the town. The Memorial Day parade, as you know, was very short. Probably like Melrose, but it was still good. The ceremony was nice. We beat the rain. Went to the Veterans Commission meeting, and they seem to be doing pretty good on all their events. They're pretty organized. More so than what I've seen when I've been there before. They said that the memorial probably will be done by next Memorial Day. So next year, a year from now, it should be pretty good. Other than that, under my comments, I mean, I showed this paper with Chris Davis here. I'm really pissed at that man, okay? And if it's all right, I don't know if it's okay, but I got a little thing here I'd like to read. It's kind of a joke thing.
Well, okay.
Okay, it's funny. You guys will all get a laugh out of it, I think. But let me read it anyway, all right? It came from my brother-in-law from Hawaii. A little girl was leaning into a lion's cage. Suddenly the lion grabbed her by the collar of her jacket and tries to pull her inside to slaughter her. All under the eyes of the screaming parents, a biker jumped off his Harley, ran to the cage, and hits the lion square in the nose with a powerful punch. The lion jumps back, letting the little girl go. The biker brings the girl back to her terrified parents, who thanked him endlessly, and a reporter has watched the whole event. Reporter addressing the Harley rider says, "Sir, this was the most gallant and bravest thing I've ever seen a man do in my whole life." The Harley rider replies, "Why, it was nothing really. The lion was behind bars. I just saw this little kid in danger and acted as I felt right." Reporter says, "Well, I'll make sure this won't go unrecognized. I'm a journalist, you know, and tomorrow's paper will have this story on the front page. Tell me about yourself, what you do for a living, who you are, and your political affiliation. Anything at all to add to some color to the story," right? So the biker replies, "I'm a U.S. Marine, I'm a Republican, and I voted for Trump." So the journalist leaves. So the next day, the biker goes and he buys a paper because he wants to see what the article said. And this is what it said on the front page. U.S. Marine assaults African immigrant and steals his lunch. One other thing I want to say. Remember we talked about the pump station and all of that fiasco, and no one kind of knew what went on over there? Why it was hooked into all the house and up to the riding stable? Well, I actually delivered a bunch of millings to a guy who told me that whole story. And he was actually the guy that dug the sewer line. And the reason the sewer line went to the house was because there wasn't enough flow to make the pump work right. So they hooked into the house. It worked okay, but not really good enough. So now they put a sewer line up to the horse farm to get more flow so that the pump would work right. Now, he couldn't tell me who paid him, he couldn't remember who paid him to do the work. But there you go, there's the story behind the pump station and all the hookups.
He didn't tell you about ripping the gas line out though, did he?
Okay? I'm not mentioning any
Oh, I know
names.
who it is.
Okay, well, maybe you do. So now we know.
Now we know.
Now we know.
Okay, I got a couple things. One is the Rotary Citizen of the Year is Andy Hoffman. So he's going to be recognized at the Nutmeg Restaurant on Thursday, June 15th, and the cocktails start at 5:30 to 6:30. If you want tickets, you can buy them at the DM Restaurant or Joe's Fine Wines or any East Windsor Rotarian. So Andy Hoffman's being recognized. I'm going to go. I'm going to make a proclamation to recognize him. And also the Crossroads Community Cathedral, which was formerly La Renaissance, has made a permit application to do some renovations, and it's for about $600,000 worth of stuff. So they're starting to remodel the old La Renaissance. That's all I got.
But they don't have to pay us any taxes.
No taxes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, zoning board. Thank you very much.
But there are some taxes, I think. It depends on the use.
Depends on what they do with it. That's the law. What are you gonna do?
They
Okay.
didn't have to allow that.
Okay, public participation. Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to make everybody here aware, we got the grant money to repair the sidewalks up at Park Hill. And if you haven't been up there this week, they've been working for about a week and a half up there now. They got the first section just about done, with some cleanup of the grass, the plant and all of that. It's coming along good up there. So if you get a chance, you might want to swing by and just take a look at where the progression is to date. The cameras have been reinstalled, so that they're now a valuable tool for those in the office, so they can see who's coming in and out of that building, since the office is in the back of the building and not the front. So that work has been done, and all the light fixtures on the outside of the apartments have been brought up to date. So, because you guys have been so helpful to us up there with allowing us the small city grants, and we're able to show that we are now financially secured somewhat. We're getting things done up there that need to get done. It's a little different layout than what the original sidewalks were as far as coming out of the apartments. It used to be in the middle of the doorway it was coming out. Now they're done properly where the pads are put to the left, depending on how the door swings open, or to the right, depending on how the door swings open. We had a little issue, if you hear anything, a couple people with wheelchairs were concerned because the layout's a little bit different, and they hadn't finished putting in the backfill to make it level. They were afraid they were going to fall off of the sidewalk material. So those people will talk to you and report these. Hopefully, in probably another month, hopefully they'll be way on top of the hill. So,
When are they gonna start the laundry rooms?
after the sidewalk project is done,
Okay.
Who's doing the work?
I'm not sure. I'd be lying if I know who's doing the sidewalk work.
That's what I mean.
Oh, Costa.
Okay, any further public? Tom?
Tom Talmini, 23 Rice Road. The generator issue at Scout Hall, I mean, we can't lose sight of this. If we just gotta put the generator for the pump station, we don't have to spend any more town money. I mean, one of the generators will work for the pump station. I mean, if we got no money for anything in town, why are we looking at spending $50,000? They have a generator they can use, they can put it for that. I'm sure it can be rewired cheap enough. I mean, a lot cheaper than $50,000. It's just a lot of money to spend.
Good input, and I would, like I said, at the last meeting, we just had 2 generators, and we weren't sure what we were gonna do. Now we have a better understanding, and that's.
Yeah, and everybody's worried about the $50,000. I mean, we still can do this by just putting one generator for the pump station. I mean, let's just do the pump station.
It could run part of Scout Hall too, but it just won't run the air conditioner.
Wow.
Big deal.
I don't know, I mean, I don't have no idea what, they did the calculations.
No, we'll have to work on it.
You'll see the calculations.
And then I have one more question.
Okay.
The sewer line on South Road, if it's an $80,000 bill to fix the sewer line, has the sewer department been collecting fees on that, or why would that be the homeowners? I'm just asking that question.
No, we never said it would be the homeowners. That's town property. They don't own the sewer line.
Oh, okay, so it would be the town would have to pick up the cost of the sewer? I mean, I was thinking if you're getting sewer fees, that's why.
Yeah, are you getting money for the sewer now? Are they paying for?
User fees? Yes, we do.
Okay. Joe?
Yeah, just on the sewer deal there, the reason I mentioned that is because if by some miracle we can end up with land, we don't need to end up with the land with an $87,000 bill right off the bat, is what I'm saying. That's why I mentioned, small cities grant, something that may be able to cover it,
That's a
get us
good
up
idea.
into shape.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it's a good idea. We've got to start doing some research.
As far as, the gentleman mentioned about making condominium, it would never work in there. With the people that are in there, I mean, you're having trouble collecting $56 a month. How is anybody gonna do an association?
Well, $56 might be the association fee.
Right.
And like in my condominiums, they mow the grass, so you guys can mow your own grass.
Oh, we do.
Yeah, so,
The only thing that the town's doing different since they took over the land is they mow the center about once a month.
yeah.
And that's the only thing that's different. In 23 years I've been there, the town's been taking care of the road as far as plowing, sanding, sweeping. The town's been taking care of the at the end of the road usually ends up with a hole, they patch it. They pick up trash through there. I mean, everything's the same with the exception of they mow the center island. It's the only thing that changed when the town took over the land.
Yeah, well, we'll do a little more research. We gotta work on
I
it.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Just one thing, quick, since Dale brought up Abby's Helping Hand. Abby's Helping Hand is doing a fundraiser on June 14th at Dairy Queen in South Windsor to help aid Gavin Anderson here from town. He's 3 years old. If you haven't met Gavin, Gavin's always got a smile on his face, even though can't do much of anything else. And it's just sent him to summer camp this year to try to get him more interactive with the kids this age. So if anybody's not doing anything on the 14th from 6 to 9, please come out. All children hit a part of my heart of Gavin's family.
What's the date on that again?
It's June 14th.
June 14th.
Gavin and his family. Gavin is my niece's godson. And hoping to get as many people as we can to come out.
Could you say what his, or the handicap is?
He has cerebral palsy.
Cerebral palsy, okay.
And he just recently started going to Broadbreak Elementary School. Got accepted September. So. But he always has a smile on his face, so when you feel distressed, just look at Gavin. So if you can make it, it'd be very much appreciated by both Abby, Helping Hand, and the family.
We've raised some good money the last couple of years through Dairy Queen. The servers have been grateful. They've donated their tips, and people are just great, just great. And seeing little Gavin and seeing Abby there, man, it'll pull at your heartstrings like there's nobody tomorrow. We'll make some money for them.
Kathy.
Kathy Pippin, Willem Road. I'm kind of intrigued with Lenny Norton sitting up there and getting quite a bit of everything he wanted. And being on the Board of Finance, I find that hard. I hope somebody's going to checkmate this $5,000. Being in business, I find that tough to do. And then he came in, oh, I put $9,000 on a $27,000 piece. And I'm thinking, well, where are you going to get the rest of the money for that? None of that was asked. These towns and streets, the Board of Library put out, we put out youth center, we're ready to hit senior center, and we're talking about all this stuff. I mean, 1 year, my God, has anybody looked at the books in this room? I'm stunned, I'm horrified, and I feel very bad. I realize we have truckers in here, but I've had 45 years under my belt with credit cards, etc. They're not funny. If this guy's going to keep coming in here, God knows what he's going to run up in the next year. Thank you.
Okay, further public, yes, Joel.
Joel Whalen, 20 East Road. So last meeting, Selectman Bowser brought up the fact that he had received an email that actually went out to the entire board requesting an update on the initiatives that the first selectman had put out at the beginning of the year. I was the one that sent that. Didn't notice that on tonight's agenda or in the first selectman's report this evening, so I was wondering if the first selectman, seeing that he's had this request for almost a month, could give us an update as to when we might have sort of a state of the town in terms of the specific pieces around the initiative, especially with increasing the grand list, efficiencies, and communication with the town. So kind of those intangibles that we can't see every single day. We can see the more tangible things around the opioid crisis and some of the other things that were on that list. But I was wondering if we could just get an update on some of those less intangibles that everybody can not necessarily see.
Well, first of all, let me say it's May, and I put that out in January.
Okay.
So why don't we wait till 6 months to go on by?
Okay.
And I think it's a good time. It's a good idea, and I don't mind doing it. I think that I will put something out probably the beginning of July in that time frame that just goes over the last 6 months and maybe a little more, since I took office. Discuss some issues that are concerned to me, and so I'll be happy to do that.
Thank you.
Further participation? Okay, well, it ends the meeting, we're going into executive session, so if I could have a motion.
Carol?
Carol?
Is she
Yeah.
gonna be included?
Yeah, Carol's gonna be included.
Okay, I'll make a motion to go into executive session after about a 5-minute break pursuant to Connecticut General Statute, Section 1206A, Employment, Section 1210B4, litigation to include Carol and Medora. All right. Do you pass?
Good to see you, sir.
Okay, look.
We might get it tonight.
So where it came from.
They may call it.